Move on now, talking about Luke Shaw. Now, Luke Shaw's another big issue. The left-back issue has been a problem for Man United now for the last couple of seasons. Listen, Luke Shaw's quality is fantastic. It's one of the best in the world at times, but the injury is massive. The injury concerns, obviously, he had that double leg break in 2015. Luke Shaw is one of the best left backs on his day, but he doesn't have that day enough. And with the constant injuries that he's getting, the reoccurring muscle injuries, keeping him out for a long period of time. He went to the Euros with England, played a game, got injured, not fit for Manchester United now. For me, it's a huge concern, as well as Malacia, another left back at United, someone who's again very, very injury prone. For me, the left back situation is very, very interesting because I thought United would have got out and got one. I think it is kind of a priority position. Look at who we have now. I mean, we are really just relying on Delot and kind of Mazraoui for the fullback position. Yes, we've got young Harry Mass, and he's someone who can get minutes in Europa League, maybe in the Carabao Cup and stuff, to give Delot kind of rest because he's playing a lot of football. When talking about Luke Shaw though, like, what do we do with him? He's been at the club now 10 years. He's got a couple of years left on his deal. Not many clubs will probably be interested in signing him. Obviously, all he knows is Manchester United joined from Southampton. He's a quality left back. Will many clubs be interested in signing him? He's 27 now, 28. Will clubs be interested in signing an injury-prone left back who's very, very good on his day? And that's something United have kind of taken the risk. I think it's obvious to see the qualities Luke Shaw has when he's on the pitch for us. He's a real talented player. He gets on the ball. He's quality. He's quick on the ball. Defensively, versatility. He suits the Erik Ten Hag system really, really well. And a player who's really, really grown under Ten Hag. I think in that season, I think it was 21-22, he had a really, really solid season. Then he obviously had the Euros prior to that, which was really, really good. It's just the last season, he barely played any games and was constantly injured. This season, again, injured until, I think, after this international break. So hopefully he'll be back in that squad for the game against Southampton. But will he and should he start? Because you look at it, you look at Delot, for me, deserves to start. Mazraoui as well. Another player who's done so well defensively for us. Should he start? And for me, based on merit, they do deserve to start. And I think there's going to be games, maybe that game against Barnsley, where Luke Shaw can earn his place back, and maybe get a few minutes into the game. But based on merit, you have to give Delot and Mazraoui games. But honestly, Luke Shaw, it is sad to see the decline and how the constant injuries have kind of affected him. As I said, he's not going to get any younger, and he is picking up these occurring muscle injuries. I thought it wouldn't be a problem this season, but again, the best type of ability is availability, and ultimately that's the best ability any player can have. You look at some of the best players we've had at United. Varane, a perfect example, one of the best defenders on his day, but constantly injured and ultimately not playing most of your games as well. We've had it in all around the pitch. We've had it in attack with Anthony Martial, quality player, but too injury prone. Edison Cavani, another one. You just can't rely on these players because they'll be into the team for 3 games and then disappear, so you can't really build a foundation with them. And ultimately, that's what we're seeing with Luke Shaw. We'll have him in the game for maybe, we have him in the team for maybe 2-3 games, and then he'll be out injured again. And then ultimately, all the progress that we had, we just have to stick another player there. I think that sort of profile though that Luke Shaw has, the left centre back ability, the left back ability, is ultimately what Erik Ten Hag wants in a system. And you can see in Erik Ten Hag's first season, the first 3, the most important players were Martinez, Luke Shaw and Casemiro. They were one of the most 3 important players, among others as well, but they were the 3 who were so key to the system. The left centre back who can come out, build from the back, the left back who's obviously key on transition and attack, and obviously the holding midfielder whose job is absolutely imperative. And you look at that, Casemiro, who's had an absolute decline. Luke Shaw was out injured for the most of last season, and Lisandro Martinez too. So that's probably why Erik Ten Hag's system did kind of fail. I mean, it is apparent kind of and obvious to say you shouldn't really be relying on 3 players for your system, but they are 3 important players nonetheless, and every team has important players. You look at City, without Haaland, without, I would say, Rodri, they're not the same team that they are, and you can see that. So Arsenal as well, I think Saliba, Odegaard for them makes two the difference makers, and ultimately they're the players that they have. So United haven't been at their best, and we can see it's apparent, but on the left back situation, what do we actually do going forward? Do we sell Luke Shaw? Do we sell I think, listen, they both say the season at the club, see what their availability situation is. On Malacia, we don't know when he's going to be back, whether that's weeks, months. Reports it could be near to Christmas time. But he's a guy who hasn't played football for over a year now. His last appearance was, I think, 20-something of August last year for United. He's had a very tough time of it, and these is a very, very bad injury. His career ending probably for the time that he's been out. And listen, Malacia was a very, very good player when he came in. He gave great competition for Luke Shaw. But can he play regular game time for us? Not anymore, I don't think so, because, listen, injuries like that, they could be obviously really, really challenging. So, listen, I don't think that could happen, but the left-back situation is very, very interesting. I think, listen, if you look at ideal replacements to replace Luke Shaw, and you look at a left-back that can come in, I think, as I said, Theo Hernandez, AC Milan, fantastic player. Gutierrez at Girona. I like the look of Milos Kerkez as well. Marc Cucurella, someone who's been touted. And there's also going to be other options that, for me, Manchester United should not go near. The Ben Chilwells, Marcos Alonso's, these sort of players. But there are definitely very, very good left-backs out there for Manchester United who can really certain and fit the role that United need. Then the only thing with Luke Shaw is the injuries, and can United afford to get, and can Manchester United get rid of a player who's on, I think it's like 200k a week. I'll check it now. I'll check what wage Luke Shaw is on our favourite website, Capology. Let's see, Manchester United wages. He's going to be on a lot of money though, isn't it, nonetheless. Luke Shaw is on, for Manchester United, 150 grand a week, 7.8 mil a year. He's got a contract until June 2027, so he's got 3 years left on his deal. Like, honestly, what do we do? Do we get rid of him? How much will you get for him? I think for definitely Luke Shaw, you're approaching 20-25 million pound. You have to understand he's been a player who's been at United for 10 years. Will be relatively hard to shift. I don't really know many clubs interested in signing a left back, so it's either that or, listen, United are not going to release him, so we probably will be stuck with him. On Malacia, we'll have to see what the situation is. I don't think he'll play regular game time for us though again, and I would maybe looking at sales. He's a player that you could sell, but how much money would you get for him? A player who's been out of action for a year now. You probably won't get anything more than maybe 15 mil for him. So ultimately the left back situation is interesting. I think it's perfect to kind of talk about in this sort of videos, the red review, because it is an overall review of United, and ultimately the left back has been a position which we have struggled massively with. Listen, Dalot at this current moment is doing a very, very good job there. He's putting in a shift, he looks sharp there. Business best position. I think we'd look better as well with Dalot on the right hand side. It's all about that balance, and I do think we need a left-footed player. I've given my option on who I would like to come into the team. I think it's a big season as well for Harry Amass. Harry Amass for me is a fantastic player with potential, and that's a big word there, potential. There's a huge risk on him in these games. I think maybe Barnsley, FC Twente, when we play them, it'd be nice opportunities for him because he does certainly look ready. We've seen what he can offer in pre-season. He does look like a real prospect and a Luke Shaw sort of regen. So listen, for me, I think it'd be good to get him into the team. I think he's a quality player, but again, he's too early, could be a huge risk. And listen, he's 17 years of age. We need established players, and we know we've seen it with Mainu coming at 18, Garnacho as well, and over the years with our history at the club. But this is totally different. This is high level Premier League football now, and I'm not saying he won't be ready for it. I'm sure he will be. The glimpses that he's shown so far, he's got a good link up with Rashford. I think we need a left back who's going to have a strong relationship with the winger, whether that be Rashford, Garnacho, or someone else. It's balanced, and it's all about getting up the pitch. But that is it on the left back situation. have talking a bit for quite long. I'm going to move on to the next segment now. But yeah, let me know your thoughts.